Now in this video, I want to talk about the premise of how do you negotiate multi-million dollar sales deals. Now I've spent over a decade of my career within software sales closing several multi-million dollar deals. I closed a deal with one of the largest food delivery companies on the planet for $8.5 million. I closed a deal with one of the largest energy companies for over $3 million, and I've had multiple other deals that are seven figures plus throughout the last decade or so. And I've also managed large sales teams and been able to support and work with sellers that have also done the same. And so no better person to walk you through this. Now, if I was to make this as simple as I possibly can and break this down into one concept, it's really a war on perceived value. And the more perceived value you're able to build in a deal, the more leverage you have within that deal. So this becomes a question of how do you build perceived value? Now, you've got multiple different levers you can pull to build perceived value in a deal. One of them is a ROI assessment, right? So this is a more tactical way of doing it. This is how do you build up a return on investment breakdown for this organization where the maths just make sense, right? So if you think about it from a company standpoint or a client standpoint, they want to be able to see that they can put $1 in and get $5 out. The same way it goes for they want to see that their $1 million investment gets them a 5x return or a 10x return or even more than that, even a 2x return. If you can show them a maths equation where it proves out how your offering over a certain period of time delivers more than a 2x return on every dollar that they're going to invest with you, you're well on your way to having a lot of leverage within the deal, especially if that math stacks up. Where I see salespeople sometimes have friction is because the ROI assessment is just unrealistic, or the maths just doesn't make sense. Sometimes you see the ROI has like an 1000x return and it's just unrealistic. And because it's unrealistic, even if it's true, it just doesn't come across as credible. And so you're not going to be able to convince a client to actually go and make that investment because they're seeing the number and the maths and they say, this doesn't make sense. Always ask yourself, would a chief financial officer read through this and feel that it's credible? Because at some point, it's always going to land on someone in finance's lap. And those are the people that you need to be able to look at a return on investment assessment and feel that it makes sense. What should you include in that ROI assessment? Of course, the maths itself, but you should also include a breakdown of the current state of that organization and how your service offering, product or solution takes them to a desired future state. And the better you can get at doing that, the more effective and the higher likelihood you're going to have of actually winning that business. So that's one of the core levers you have to pull. Another one is when you've built a great deal champion. Now, when we talk about a deal champion, this is someone who's got influence, who's got access to power, and that will take action on your behalf to accelerate the deal at the other end. So this is someone who works for the prospect or works for the client that feels great about what you're offering and has some form of gain, but they have to have the ingredients that I just mentioned as well. If you've got a great deal champion, that can give you incredible leverage within the deal, especially when they've got access to power, because they can walk into the office of that chief financial officer or of the CEO and be able to convince them of what it is that you offer, and then be able to help to move through your business case and that ROI assessment, walk it into their office, walk them through it, and then get them comfortable with that assessment. So now you've got an ROI assessment and a champion to actually carry that through. You're in a fantastic position to actually win the deal. The third component is really your ability to articulate this offering in total when the heat is on, right? So I can think about those deals that I've just referenced. There'd been moments within those deals where I'm either on a Zoom call or I'm actually been in an office physically present, and I've got to present and I've got to pitch this offering and get multiple stakeholders comfortable with this offering. And that ties in and coincides with this point. It's being able to get multiple stakeholders rallied around a unified goal and a unified vision that you have of taking them to their desired future state through this ROI assessment and hand in hand with your deal champion. When you've got all of those ingredients combined, that you've got incredible leverage when you're at the negotiation table to actually get this deal won, get it over the line, and do it without having to go through massive discounts. If you're finding yourself having to offer a lot of discounts and a lot of concessions in the deal, it's typically because one of those three components you've not done a good job on, or potentially you've not done a good job on any of them. And if that's the case, this is where you find yourself offering 80% discounts, 90% discounts, 3 months, 3 years. When you've done a great job on all of those things, often discounts doesn't even come up in the conversation. So if you've got a deal right now that feels like it's a little bit in between all of these, have a think about where you're at on those three components and then see where you end up once you work this through a deal review. I hope this has been helpful in some way. If it has, please do like, comment, share and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.